Oh, hey, leaders. Just looking over and preparing for our next series, True Story, where we're going to be going on a journey with the early church, the disciples, Peter and Paul, and understanding what it looks like in the life of the early church to go out and share and be missionaries in the world. We're going to be looking at some big adventure, some big exciting things because we all enjoy stories. We all enjoy big adventure where there's heroic rescue, where there are times where we don't really know what's going to happen and what the adventure and what's right around the next corner. And so that's what we're going to be doing as we journey on with the early church. Over the next 4 weeks in May, we're going to be looking at Saul's conversion. We're going to be looking at Peter and Cornelius and how God told them to love everyone. We'll be talking about how Peter's rescued from jail and how Paul and Barnabas go on missionary journeys to tell people about Jesus. And so over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be really honing in and focusing in on three gain concepts for the month of May. The first one is grace. And really defining grace as this idea that we get something we don't deserve, receiving something we don't deserve. So just like with our relationship with God, that we don't deserve God's forgiveness, but through Jesus, He gives us forgiveness. So grace is receiving something we don't deserve. We also, the idea of sanctification, and what does it mean to be sanctified, or a process of sanctification. And really, that's growing or continuing to grow to be more like Jesus. So after we accept Jesus or after we make a commitment to follow Jesus, it doesn't end there, but we continue to grow to become more like Jesus. And that's what the sanctification is. And the last one is a missionary. And missionary is really anyone who goes and tells somebody else about the gospel, about Jesus. And so over the course of the next 4 weeks, we're going to be talking about these three terms of grace, sanctification, and missionary, and what those mean in the life of the early church and what it means for us. Because really, we have a bigger concept for May, June, and July, and that is sharing our story. And realizing that our story, our life, is a part of God's bigger story that He's writing. It's a part of the gospel. It's a part of an eternal story of us going out and sharing the good news with others. Just like the people in the early church did, and just like God's great commission and call for us to go out and make disciples in the world. And so I'm really excited about this next series as we go on an adventure, as we look at what God is doing in our lives and how we can be a part of that, and we can be a part of what God's doing. So I'm excited about that. Just a reminder about all the different things kind of happening. We have our totes on the wooden cart, so I know this might kind of be some new things for some of you guys since you haven't been serving in April, but we have a wooden cart in the back. We have totes back there for first hour, second hour. If you just grab your tote and you can use that during small group and then put it back on the wooden cart wherever your small group's over, help us kind of clean up the table, put things back in order there. Also, we have Bibles on the wooden cart. As kids go to large group, they'll pick up a Bible and take it with them, and then they'll take those Bibles back to small group with them, and then they'll just need to get back on the cart. Also, we have been having target times for each hour, and what that really is that a target time for small groups to wrap up. So at the end of first hour at 10:35, that's when our target time is for small groups to wrap up, and at 10:40 we open the door. For second hour, our target time is 12:05, and then we'll open the door by 12:10. And so just wanted to make sure you guys knew about that. We also have included on the wooden cart a memory verse activity for your group. So if your group does happen to finish up before the target time and other groups are still working, then you can go grab a kit off the cart and do that with your small group to continue to learn the memory verse. So the memory verses, I sent those out as well. They're also included in the email, and you can check those out and begin learning those. We're still encouraging students to learn those and receive a celebration gift when they do learn those. They'll get one celebration gift for each verse that they learn. And this quarter, our celebration gift is candy. Just a piece of candy, so you'll find that in your tote. And what we're trying to do is each quarter change those celebration gifts to keep the kids kind of interested and excited about doing that. The other thing I want to share with you about our memory verses is you'll find in your folder or in your tote a sheet, and you can write down the names of the students and which verses they have learned, because they can only share the verse from the current month, so they can only share the verse from May, one of the two verses. They can only do that once. They can only share it with you once, and you can mark off and keep track of that. They also need to share that verse either with a large group leader or with their small group leader. That way they're not going to other small group leaders and sharing and telling them the verse. So we're trying to put some parameters and guides on that to help make it a little bit easier. Also in the month of April, we have tried to start putting a countdown up on the screen for small groups so that you know how much time is left, counting down to the target time, and help everybody kind of stay on point with that. Any other thoughts or ideas, I'll be sure to kind of share those with you. On one note, I will be out of town this weekend. I'll miss being here with you guys, but if you need anything, Julie should be able to help you. I hope you guys have a great week and a great weekend. We'll see you soon.